Let's understand the factors in international marketing. USA, Japan, Germany have dominating position in international marketing, no doubts. Super quality products exported from India and other such nations. Incentives by government to increase sales promotion. Dynamic market use competitive techniques. Professional experts are required. Exchange bank and export houses support is needed. Market scenario changes due to social, economic, political factors, and long-term planning is required. Also, we see the benefits dominance of multinationals. Already big companies have established in most of the businesses, and there is huge number of contacts that is exchanged in data and dominate the developing countries. It's a fact. Marketing across the world has become important nowadays for the growing companies. It brings the countries closures, the cultures between them improves, the quality of life improves. Also, diversification increases, the requirement of a country is fulfilled, factors of production increases, more employment gets generated, and careers can be built. The disadvantages of international marketing are various restrictions and barriers make it difficult to initiate. There's a lot of formalities, a lot of money involved, and it can be expensive. Foreign exchange regulations keep changing. Restrictions from ASEAN, ASEAN, LAFTA, LAFTE, TA, EEC, CMEA are continuously to be checked. Artificial barriers like movement of restricted movements of goods and services and unfavorable research can cause problem. High competition, technology updation, risky and complicated, lengthy procedures, formalities may be a lot, like I said, and may lead to a war if there is a trade problem. Disadvantages more are that it unequal partners, sometimes the lower partner suffers rapid exploitation, natural resources get depleted, harmful goods like cigarettes and drugs etc get exchanged, good quality products are exported, starvation of food products gets halted from exporting. One country's gain is other country's loss. Let's see EPRG framework. Home country is superior, sees similarity in foreign countries. Polycentric is each host country is unique, sees differences in foreign countries. Sees regiocentric, it means sees similarity and differences in a world. Region is ethnocentric or polycentric in its own view of the rest of the world. Geocentric is world view, seems similarity, differences in the home and host countries. So basically ethnocentric, polycentric, regiocentric and geocentric. These are the four things of EPRG framework. Okay. We will go to the next slide. An unconscious belief is there that for every country, EPRG framework understands the unique differences and different approaches towards laws, culture and policies. The entire world is a single market for a company. That's how employees cross function. So strategies may be different, but it is a family for successful business integration. Now we will see the difference between domestic market and international market. Social factors affecting international marketing operations are national taste, language, values and beliefs, demography, literacy rate, female workforce, double income families, impulse buying. That's it. First module ends here. Basic difference between domestic market and international market is that there is language culture similar in domestic market but different in international market. Transport cost is less in domestic, more in international. One currency, lot of currencies in international. Similar factors in domestic, different factors in international. Homogeneous in domestic, heterogeneous in international. Simple and complex, accurate, difficult. Basic interference, high interference. Sorry, not in, it is interference from government. More experienced in domestic. Now we'll do a summary of the first module of international marketing, drivers. So globalization drivers may be market factors, cost factors, environmental factors, competitive factors. So basically each factor will have its own points. Process, strategic planning process will have assessment and analysis, understanding and adjusting the core strategy, market competitive analysis, internal analysis, choice of competitive strategy, country market choice, segmentation. Phases, no direct foreign market, infrequent foreign marketing, regular foreign marketing, and then international marketing. These are the four phases. Benefits, the main benefits of international marketing we have already covered 2 times. The challenges we have covered. Difference between domestic and international market we have covered. EPRG framework we have covered. Ethnocentric, polycentric, regiocentric, geocentric. Exporting. Coming to important part, exporting. Export marketing means exporting goods to the countries of the world as per the procedures framed by the exporting country as well as by the importing country. Export marketing has wider economic significance as it offers various advantages to the national economy. It has brought several nations back from dead. According to B.S. Rathore, export marketing includes the management of marketing activities for products which cross the national boundaries of a country. Export marketing means marketing of goods and services beyond the national boundaries. Then we will see licensing. Licensing agreement represents signing of an agreement with a foreign-based enterprise. It is an arrangement whereby the licensor grants the rights of intangible property to another party called licensee for a specified period and in return receives a royalty fee every year. Okay, intangible property includes patents, processing know-how, trademarks, inventions, formulas, copyrights, and designs of the company. Through this agreement, licensor can enter the foreign market at less risk and licensee gets the benefit of gaining manufacture technology and marketing of a well-known product or brand. Licensing does not involve marketing facilities. If the cost of production is low, licensee's country, then licensor benefits. Franchising. Franchising is similar to licensing, though it tends to involve longer term commitments than licensing. Franchising is basically a specialized form of licensing in which the franchisor not only sells intangible property to the franchisee but also insists that the franchisee agree to abide by all the rules which are of the franchisor. Franchisee will often assist the franchisee to run the business or to help with certain processes. As with licensing, the franchisor typically receives a royalty payment again with some percentage of the revenue of the franchisee. Licensing is pursued primarily by manufacturing firms. Franchising is employed by service firms. McDonald's and KFC are good examples of firms that are franchisees. Even Just Dogs is a good example. McDonald's and Baskin Robbins and lot of such franchisees have opened all around us. Joint ventures. A joint venture is any kind of cooperative arrangement between two or more independent companies which leads to the establishment of a third entity, organizational separated from the parent companies. While two companies contributing complementary expertise might be significant, but such as licensing different joint ventures is that each company has an equity stake in the newly formed firm. The stake taken by one company might be as low as 10% or as high as 50%. Okay, a joint venture may be only a way to enter a country or region because you need bigger scale of operations. So government can do negotiation if joint ventures are there. Okay, next we will see what is a strategic alliance. While all market entry methods essentially involve alliances of some kind, during 1980s the term strategic alliance started to be used without being precisely defined to cover a variety of contractual arrangements which are intended to be strategically beneficial for both parties but cannot be defined as clearly licensing or joint ventures because these contracts can be very customized. Okay. So basically a strategic alliance is a business relationship which is also called Strategic International Alliance SIA, established by two or more companies to cooperate out of mutual need and to share risk in achieving a common objective. Strategic alliances grew in importance over the last decades because it has more flexibility in the global market. Mergers and acquisitions. Merger is an external strategy for growth of the organization. A merger is a combination. Other terms used are amalgamation, consolidation, or integration of two or more organizations, in which one acquires the assets and liabilities of the other, and in exchange for shares and cash or both the organizations are dissolved and the assets and liabilities are combined and new stock is issued. Acquisitions is acquiring or purchasing an existing venture. It is one of the easy means of expanding a business by entering new markets, new product areas. An entrepreneur must be careful in structuring the payment so that he will not be financially overburdened. He must create a scope for phase-wise payment so that the company generates funds to pay during mergers and acquisitions.